EastEnders fans, welcome to this week's Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast, where this week we'll be discussing the episodes that aired between the 26th to the 29th of January 2026. How are you all? Nearly the end of January, finally, the longest month ever. Joining me today is Robert. Hello, Robert.
Hello,
How are you?
Rihanna. I'm very well, Rihanna. How are you this week? All right?
I'm good, thank you. Are you all recovered from your lovely week away in lieu with an E?
Everybody should go and holiday in Devon or Cornwall. I love it down there so much. Although, let me tell you, weather wasn't great. Constant, right? So basically, the entire time I was there, the area that I was in was either under a yellow warning or an amber warning. One night there was a massive old
Amber.
windstorm. Oh yes,
Amber's
oh
big
I.
things, isn't it, when
It
it's
is big
amber?
things. Oh I. There's all sorts of drama that kicks off down there regarding the railway lines because it goes through a town called Dawlish, right? If you live in the southwest, you'll know all about this. I've just discovered the drama that kicks off about this, right? So there's a big thing where because Dawlish is on the seawall, and the railway line is right next door to the seawall. So when the sea goes crazy, it can put that bit of line out of action, which entirely cuts off the southwest of the rest of the country. And there's loads of people kicking off about the fact that it's not fair that little stretch, that town's little stretch of railway can block off the entire country. So they should open another line to get it all. It all kicks off down there.
I
Big
mean,
old ting.
to be fair, when you were saying it, I'm like, could they not move the railway
Well,
line so it's not that close to the seawall?
I mean, I
That
don't know if
does sound
it's
like a great idea.
I don't know if it's quite that simple to just move the railway line, but you
It
know.
sounds it.
Oh,
So,
well, I'll put you in charge of it. That'd be all right. We've done in minutes, wouldn't it?
exactly. Like, go on, crack on. Sounds
Crack
easy
on.
to me.
Get on with it. Put your big coat on and
Yeah,
get on with it. You'll be all right.
exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
but I had a
What we
great
do up
time.
north anyway.
I got loads and loads of work done. So I would
Yes,
say
with
I'm
your
into the
book.
final quarter of my book now, and I'm really, really excited and
You
happy
need
with it.
you need to hurry up because I feel like the last part I read, I've been left on quite a duff for a
Quite a
while.
duff duff.
So
Yes, you
yeah,
were.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. Need to
So
read it.
yes, that will be
Very good.
coming soon. Very
Very good.
exciting. On to EastEnders this week. Quite a big week, actually, it turned out, wasn't it? Quite a lot kicking off.
Yes.
We've had
Uh-huh.
people being sent down. We've had clothes being ripped off. We've had, it's
That was
been
so soon.
saucy. I
We're
saw
expecting that
people.
pre-watershed.
Well, this is the thing. I saw a couple of people kicking off
Yeah.
online, going, "That was very graphic. My children watch this," and I'm sort of like, "Would you want like an age verification service before you watch an episode of EastEnders like they have to do with porn these days?"
Do you
Honestly,
know what? I'll be honest with you, right? Before having a kid, I wouldn't have even blinked at that. But
you've
I did
changed now, haven't you?
genuinely think it
You've
myself and
changed.
think, what if my daughter had been like in the
Like,
But then again, like I wouldn't let my daughter watch it at her current age.
do you know what my argument always is with the soaps, right? And when they do a little scene like that, that's a little bit sort of erotically charged, you know?
Yeah.
This is also the same sort of show that has murders and
I mean, true that.
all the terrible things that humanity does to one another,
Misogyny.
misogyny,
Like,
and they're
yeah.
normally absolutely fine with like letting the kids watch all that. But as soon as somebody's shirt gets ripped open, it's the
Yeah,
end.
but they talk about that kind of thing enough as well, don't they?
Mm,
And yeah.
yes. So
I
either
mean,
way,
use
I
your
say
judgment, I guess, in it when you're a
yes.
parent.
I say lucky Vicky. I
I
mean,
mean, next
I
day she
mean.
were beating herself up. I thought,
I
well,
wouldn't
you
have
know, you
been.
had a good time last
I
night,
wouldn't have been.
Vicky.
I'd have
Go
been like,
on.
do you know what? Fair play. I'd have dealt with the consequences and been like, I had a great time. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with the repercussions of that later. But for the
Oh
moment, I
dear.
am glowing.
Mm-hmm.
There we
Well,
are then. So yeah, much to discuss this week with the
yes.
whole Joel court case.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Jr. has been causing a little bit of drama this week as well. We shall discuss that. And Elaine and Ian's feud kicked off rather massively again this week as well. So much to discuss
Yes.
in this week's Albert Square After Dark. So let's kick off this week with talking about Elaine and Ian and Kathy. Elaine, I think it is fair to say, has quite a bad week, doesn't she? It's not the best week for
Bless
Elaine.
her. I
Bless
felt
her,
I
I
actually
think.
felt for her so much.
Well, with the George stuff, you mean?
Yeah.
Because George wants to talk to her about the fact that Nicola is rather pregnant with his child. Nicola's sort of like, yeah, you need to tell her, go on with it. I love the fact that nobody considers Cindy in any of this whatsoever. Only
Yeah, that
Cindy.
was so good when she was sat at bar. Like, didn't think about telling me, did you, George?
I didn't even consider thinking about whether Cindy needs to know. And if anything, she had more of a right to know than Elaine did because Cindy's at
Oh,
least
do you
had
think?
kids. Oh, I don't know, maybe because like Cindy's had his kids, so maybe
No, to be
Elaine.
fair,
I'd
like
have thought
she
that
did
would have
do a
put her
runner
up
for
for
how
the.
many
She
years?
did,
Like, if
yeah,
anything,
yeah,
like
that's
I would
true.
say Cindy don't really have a right to do it,
Maybe
but
you could be
also,
right. Yeah.
yeah,
But anyway, the thing is, Elaine has got it into her head, thanks to B, really, that George might want to get back with her when he turns around to her and says, can me and you have a chat later? Not here, in the Vic, privately,
mm.
you know. We'll have a drink and we'll have a really nice discussion. And
In
Elaine's
the
like,
Vic's more private than this room that we're in right now.
yeah,
But yeah,
well, they were
there
in
we
the
go.
street when they had that conversation, to be fair,
Yeah.
weren't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
So she goes to the Vic and she's done her hair and she's done all her makeup and everything and she's
Bless
like
her.
getting ready to take him back to the hotel boutique and have a really good time with him. But George breaks the news and
Mm.
she doesn't react well to it. I thought there was a really nice moment when she turned around to him and he kind of calls her Elaine and he's like, "No, call me Elaine," which I
Yes,
thought
that
was
was good.
that was interesting. Yeah,
And
yeah.
she was right, actually, yeah, because that was like his pet
The
name for
pet
her,
name,
weren't
yeah.
it? Yeah,
So
yeah, he shouldn't be
don't
calling
call
her
me the
Lane
pet name
still.
anymore. Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
get to call me a pet name because I ain't your pet. That's how it
yeah.
works, I guess.
Do you know what as well though with this? I think we saw Nicola actually being quite considerate of Elaine when she
Mm,
said you need to tell her because she could have easily just been like, "Oh well, you're not
yeah,
part of his
and
life anymore or
usually,
anything."
yeah, and
Yeah,
usually considerate for Nicola, to be fair.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and so that kind of just puts the cherry on top of what turns out to be quite a bad week for Elaine because the feud between her and Ian is still kind of going on. He took photos of Councillor Barker going into the boutique last week, and these photos make the papers.
Of course, because he sends them to the papers, of
Of course he
course.
does, yeah. And just as he is opening the laundrette in such an Ian type ceremony, he's got his suit and tie on. This laundrette that's already like perfectly fine and dandy and
Yeah,
working. Like the washing
yeah,
machines are going round at the time when he's doing this. I
yeah.
declare this laundrette open. Cuts the ribbon. Elaine storms in with his newspaper and has a massive sort of set two with him. And Ian's really pleased with himself and proper smug, isn't he?
Yeah, Ian is very smug in it the
Very
best of
smug.
times. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
quite
still
smug this week.
think you don't think Elaine and Ian now?
I
Because I don't
don't
think they can
know.
come back from all this.
No, I am struggling to sort of see how they might fall into bed from here, but let's be real,
Yeah,
stranger things have happened.
very true. But
I
I
think,
actually don't think they're going to take that route now.
well, the only thing that kind of makes me wonder whether they are still going to go down that route with this
Mm.
is just sort of like the loneliness that Elaine is starting to feel. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
After George
Mm,
basically made it quite clear, no, me and you aren't getting back together. There's no chance of that. You sort of
mm,
get the impression that actually she's really starting to feel that thing that I'm sure women go through and men, I guess, as you get older and you're single and it
mm.
sort of starts to worry you and
Yeah,
all
you've
of
not
that
got
kind
that
of thing.
companionship that you were maybe
Yeah,
expecting that you'd have.
yeah.
Do you know when George did tell her in the Vic, they had that little moment with Ian where he was like trying to give her a bit of sympathy.
This is what I mean. Yeah,
It did seem
obviously.
genuine, didn't it? And then
Obviously,
obviously
she bit
Elaine
his head off
snapped at
to
him.
like
Yeah.
to his knees.
Mm.
But yeah, this is what I mean. Like, so is there a little bit of a
Mm.
moment where Elaine and him might be able to sort of like make some common ground after a few Irish creams? I don't know, but I think it's still possible. Less so, but
I'm
possible.
hoping not, to be honest, because if Elaine turns around from that, because she really despises it, mind you, it's a, it's what's the word? What's the
Hate
phrase?
sex.
No, it's something between love and hate. What's the blooming phrase? Why has it gone out of my
I know
head?
what you mean. That they're two
Thin line
thin
between love and
line.
hate. Right, there we go.
They're in the same
Yes,
bush,
this
aren't
time.
they?
Yeah,
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 they're in the same kettle of fish, aren't they, Ree? That's how it
yes, that's
works.
the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so like I said, the feud current continues. The taxis that Kathy now owns, which I bet we never see her in that taxi office whatsoever, but anyway, um,
Yeah.
they've been parking outside the hotel, and Elaine's kind of been asking them to move them all week. So once she gets into her car, all sort of fumed and angry and everything, she spots one of these taxis behind her and sort of puts her foot down and reverses straight into the front of
Mm.
it, thinking, "Lol, I've just ruined one of their taxis." Kathy sat in the front of this and injures her neck. Now, my first question is, what the hell was Kathy doing? Just sat in the front of a taxi for doing nothing. What was she doing in there?
Maybe sure on a phone. I do sometimes do that, when I'm like at end of a drive before I get out of my car. I'll be like,
Yeah,
oh, just go on my phone for 5 minutes, just like,
yeah, just play a bit of
little
Angry Birds or
reset.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe she was.
yeah, maybe she was playing
Yeah.
Angry Birds, but unfortunately, one big Angry Birds kind of crashed
Oh,
into the front of her,
smooth,
didn't
Rob,
she?
smooth.
Thank you, thank you. Injures her neck, and so Kathy spends the rest of the week like going, my neck,
With whiplash.
with
Yeah.
whiplash, yeah. And again, this sort of makes things worse. And to the point where Ian has now said, right, Councillor Barker is no longer Councillor Barker, he's just Barker. So I'm going to become Councillor Beale. And my first decree, if I win, will be to close that hotel boutique down. And so
Close that
Elaine's
brothel down,
close
as
that
Keith pretty
brothel
much
down.
coined it.
And that's whorehouse down. And Ian and Elaine basically says, right, well, I'll go for it too. So now what we're into is going to be Beale versus Peacock for Councillor of Wolford,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Hey. What are your thoughts? What do you think?
Do you know what? I don't mind it because you're talking about like Elaine and the loneliness thing, but she's also having left the Vic, and they have touched on it. She's kind of lost her place in the square because
Yeah, it's lost some purpose.
she's always like, the head of a pub, let's say, like a
Mm.
landlady, isn't she? And that's always
Yes.
been her place in life,
On
hasn't it?
stage. Yeah.
Yeah, on stage, exactly. So for her to go
Yeah.
from that, and she's trying to, I think, replicate it somewhat in the boutique hotel.
Mm.
But it's not, it still feels like she's got that hole, I think, whereas her going for counsellor kind of makes sense
Mm.
that she's trying to find, like you say, her stage, I guess, again in the square because
Yeah,
she needs to be at the front of everything. So
it's
I
about
don't mind it
having sort of
actually.
respect off people, isn't it? And the thing is, as
Yeah.
well, you could also kind of put all of that onto Ian as well. Like he is,
Mhm.
yes, a smarmy businessman, constantly smug all the time. I can't relate to that whatsoever. But um, and you could argue actually that Ian's a bit lonely as well. Like all of his marriages, all of his relationships, all kind of
Mhm.
go burning to the ground whenever he tries one. So ultimately, you can sort of see them as two ships in the mist that sort of
Mhm.
might end up colliding. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
still wonder whether there is still character reasons why you might put these two together eventually. And like I said earlier, like more strange, much weirder things have happened to put two characters together. So
I wonder if what might happen actually is that Ian will see Elaine, see how much it means to her. The only way
yeah,
this will happen, and then he steps down from running to let her win.
I can see Ian doing that. To be fair,
That'd be the only way that Elaine would then
mm.
go for Ian, I think. Otherwise, there's absolutely no way because she can't stand him at a minute.
Well, I think actually what might happen is that both of them go for this, both of
Mm.
them lose,
Yeah, there is
and
that. Yeah.
then they sort of have a reluctant sort of drink together to drown their
Yeah.
sorrows and sort of try and put their differences to
Mm.
bed and then go to bed. That might
Yes,
happen.
possibly. Maybe they'll bond over hating
Yeah.
the person who's won, kind of thing as well.
Bonding over failure is a
Mm.
powerful romantic attraction, really, I would say.
Is it? Well, there we go.
I've
There's
slept with
chance
so
there.
many
There's
failures
hope.
in my time because we've got so much in common. Just happens, you know what I
There
mean?
you go. Then
There
Ian
you
and
go.
Elaine could still happen. Then there we go.
Failure is an excellent foreplay, Rihanna, I would say.
Just gotta carry it on, ain't you, Rob? You got to keep
Yep.
going with it. You
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
to. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
always.
Brilliant.
So there we go. That is the Elaine
Yes.
and Ian storyline. It is going on it is going on quite a while, but at the same time, I'm not minding it really. I'm sort of
No,
I'm
I don't
enjoying.
mind
I
it.
like both characters. I like the
Yes.
feud, so I think it's all right to be honest.
It's quite OTT and it suits both of them. I
Yeah.
actually do. I actually would prefer it if they just stay feuding rather
Hmm.
than them jumping into bed with each other.
Hmm.
But if it progresses down that way, then maybe I'll change my mind because that does happen, doesn't it?
Now and again, it does happen. We'll see.
Yeah.
On to B now. This woman is a psychopath. She is clinically insane, and she's going to make Mad May look like the most
Mad me.
level-headed woman that's ever lived. I'm telling you, she's insane.
Yeah, there's something in there with her. What if she is the pregnant woman in Max's bed, but she's not really pregnant and she's pretending to be pregnant?
It's possible. I'm more starting to wonder whether she is, because obviously she's getting very sort of into Honey and the relationship with Honey. I mean,
Obsessed.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
wonder what she's going to do is like set her eyes on Billy and start trying to sort of be Honey, be Honey.
Oh, be
that
honey, good one.
that's where I wonder where it's
Yes.
going, like some sort of
Yeah, I could see
obsessive
that
thing like
actually.
that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's something not quite right. She was determined to get that job just to be closer to
Just to
Honey,
be close
weren't
to
she?
Honey. It's quite funny though. I'm slowly becoming quite obsessed with Bee. I think she's quite funny.
You're becoming obsessed with her. She'll
I am.
like
I
that.
wasn't. She will like that. I wasn't. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't sure at first, but now,
Yeah,
but I'm slowly but surely, I'm coming around to Bee's way of thinking. I quite
yeah.
like her.
So we had that bit at the start, didn't we, of the week where the boy were trying to nick those cans, and then she like did
Yes.
the weird judo thing
Yeah,
on him.
as much as I like B, I wasn't sure about that.
I wasn't, but I also understood that I think the principle was that she were acting really confident, like she could have took him down further if she
Yes.
wanted to.
Is that
So
the
it
way to do
didn't.
it then, do you reckon, in life? You just sort of pretend that you're a black belt and just make loads of karate noises and poses, and people will
I
believe that you
mean,
could kick the living shit out of them. Do you reckon that would
I mean,
work?
it probably, yeah. If you were just
Probably.
like, well, I'm black belt, you'd be like, all right, see you later.
See you
I'm
later.
running off belt, you
Yeah,
know?
I'm belting off.
Oh, good one. There we
Aye,
go. That's
aye.
the one.
So yeah, B is job
Mm,
hunting this week. She tries first with Ian, who the second that he hears that she's staying at the hotel is like, "Lol, no, see you later." So she's sort of left with the Minute Mart, especially once she realizes that Honey works there, which she knew
of
anyway.
course.
She's quite happy to make that her new target.
Mm.
Yes, this whole thing with this bloke attempting to nick something and her turning into Hong Kong Fooey does happen, and then
Kill Bill, yeah.
the next day, the Minute Mark gets trashed by these two girls. So they just walk
Mhm.
in and just start trashing the place.
Yeah.
And what happens from there is that she helps Honey clean the place up, and she basically really impresses Vinny, who gives her a
Yeah.
month's trial.
Not hard to impress Vinny, is it? Let's be
Not
honest.
really, not really. A month's trial. Does this mean that like she's getting? Because sometimes trials mean that you don't get paid, doesn't it? But they can't
Nah,
expect us to
surely he'll
do
be
for a
paid. No,
month.
no,
So
he'll
she
be
must
getting
be getting
paid.
paid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a trial to see whether you're going to then carry on afterwards.
Is that not like standard in all employment though?
What, a month trial?
Well, a trial in general, like you start off like that's why people are in like probation periods and stuff,
Yeah, I
isn't
was
it?
just going to say you might call it a
Yeah,
probation period. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She'll be getting paid for the
yeah.
trial. You can't
I
make
mean,
somebody work without being paid for a
no,
month.
that's called slavery.
I,
That's
I guess unless
basically,
they
isn't it?
actually agreed to it and classed it as volunteering, but no,
Which
I
is also
think,
crazy to me, but never mind.
yeah.
So yes, I mean, is she even going to last a month without doing something insane and getting herself sacked?
Or will she get honey
Honey
sacked if she
sacked.
decides, yeah, if she
Yeah.
decides actually there's not enough shifts for the both of us and I quite want this job, she might start setting her up. I feel like she'd do that down the line though.
Yes, what I really would like to happen is for her to discover like what went on with the whole Honey and Suki thing and try and take Suki on. That
Oh.
inject that into my veins, please. I would like that a lot.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, but Suki would just get rid of B straight away. I don't think Suki's that involved. I think it's going to be Vinny's just going to fall for everything that B does.
Well, this is the thing. I don't
Can't.
think Suki is that involved in the Minute Mart anymore.
No.
It's all Vinny's
Yeah.
because Nish obviously didn't leave anything to Suki, really, did he?
Oh yeah, of
So
course.
Vinny
Actually, in the
can
Minute Mart, technically Nugget and
Nugget and
Navani's.
Navani's, yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, Suki's got nothing to do with it. So Vinny
Yeah.
can just say, "It's my business, thank you, mother.
Mm,
Leave me alone to get on with it," and then just leave B there, and then this war can
yeah.
kick off between B and Suki.
Mm,
That would be fun.
yeah. I wouldn't mind that actually. That'd be. Yeah. Did you know what? Maybe we don't know enough about B, but I just feel like Suki
Well,
would just win it straight
I mean,
away.
you'd think so, but then at the same time, this week, obviously, these girls are coming to trash the place, and
Hmm.
then it transpires that B actually kind of paid them
Shock
to do
horror.
it. Shock out. You saw this coming, did you? Yeah.
As soon as the scene started with the two girls trashing it, look at him rolling his eyes because he didn't figure it out. As soon as the two girls were in there
So
trashing it, we're like, oh,
annoying.
B sent these in. B
Yeah.
sent these in. I
Yeah.
don't know. Sorry, I just thought it was really obvious. Surely it was, right? That it was set up.
Well, I mean, I didn't like but when it was revealed, I was sort of like, well, yeah, obviously. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't think I saw it necessarily. I was expecting something to be revealed about B at
Mm.
some point this week, so I guess when that arrived, I felt content that that had happened, but I
Well,
didn't guess exactly what it was going to be, I think.
no, she literally walked in as well as they were leaving, like knight in shining armor. It was like, yeah, it's definitely B who sent these two girls in. But anyway, I thought it was very obvious. She didn't
She
pay him though. She's very
Well, this
sneaky,
is the
isn't
other
she?
thing.
She's
This is the other thing.
sly.
Like the slightly more sinister side of it was that these girls were sort of
Mm,
like, right, can we have our money for doing that, please? And
yeah.
she's sort of like, no, no. So
Well, I must be honest, that was one thing I did think when I thought, it's obviously B who sent him in. I thought, how's she paying him though? Because she's not got any money. So then when she didn't pay him, I was
she's
like,
not.
well,
That's
there we
the thing.
go.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
needed a couple of scratch cards, and those scratch cards didn't win 100K. So unlucky for you. That's justice.
Yes, apparently. So I don't know. I feel like she's really going to have her eyes. Her eyes are
Mm,
really set on Honey, aren't they? And I think you could be onto
yeah.
something with the Billy thing and trying to. she going to destroy Honey's life? She's like, just.
I don't know. Like that would imply that there was some sort of intent behind it and that she was
Hmm,
deliberately going to be doing that. Whereas with B, I don't get the vibe that she's going to do anything like that deliberately to sort of destroy Honey. I think she might just do it unintentionally. Like, remember what that flatmate said about her, that she was a parasite. So
true.
she will not believe for a single second that she's doing anything wrong and that that's just friendship, you know.
Maybe. Oh, see, I could see like Honey offending her somehow and Honey being like, look, you're getting a bit much now, B. Like maybe Honey will arrange to meet up with Nicola and B
She
knows
doesn't like
about
that,
it
does
and
she?
she'll no, and then she might gate crash and be like, oh, I thought we could all meet up together or something. And then Honey might be like, look, B, if I'm meeting a friend, like sometimes we need to have a chat by
Mm.
ourselves. She'll get offended and then be like, right, well, I'm going to take revenge because you can't talk to me like that, Honey, and then maybe do something.
Yeah.
I don't
Either
know.
way, she's off her head. I'm telling you now. There is something deeply disturbing about this
Well,
woman, and I love it.
somebody on our Facebook group, I'm really sorry because I can't remember your name, but I remember seeing the comment earlier this week and thinking you might have a point. And they said, do you get Stella vibes from B when she was talking to
Oh
Ollie?
no,
I could kind of see
reckon
that.
that spoons are going to start getting
Hot
warmed up, do
teaspoon
we?
on the hand,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe. Oh,
maybe.
you could see that though from her, couldn't you?
Well, hey, I mean, look, she is unpredictable, I think. We're not quite
Mm,
sure just how mad she's going to be. I
yeah.
just get the sense, because of the sweetness of her and like
Yes.
the over sweetness of her, like she's practically sort of like she can make teeth rot with how sort of sweet that she acts.
Yeah.
And normally that can cover up something quite dark, can't it? So
Sinister. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, she strikes me as the sort of person that's had stuff happen to her, all the way back through childhood, where she was apparently a
Yeah.
victim of bullying. That can have a huge effect on how you sort
Yep.
of view the rest of humanity.
Very
So
true.
I do think that this might be something that it needs watching quite closely because I think she's going to turn out to be a right nutter. Julie is back from Edinburgh for selling the house a few days earlier than expected.
Surprise, Phil, I'm back. Oh, he was surprised, all right.
She's not Cilla
He's,
Black.
he's hard imitating his own
Surprise,
Laura
surprise.
Dawson.
Yes,
Sorry, go on.
but it was quite a surprise for Phil because
It
he was
was, yeah.
obviously planning on taking Nigel to Portugal and was rather hoping that he'd be gone by the time that Julie got back.
Yeah.
So that doesn't play out the way he wanted it. Mark, because he wants to keep Phil in the country for reasons we should be discussing shortly,
Hmm.
tells Julie exactly what Phil was planning, and so
Yeah.
that Julie goes mad basically and takes Nigel to go live in the boutique. Now, the thing is with the hotel boutique, I'm beginning to think now that this is why it was created, just for moments like this. Because if it wasn't been
Yes.
for that, where would they have gone?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know where else they would have gone. I literally can't think.
I think that's what it's
There isn't
for. I think it's
anywhere.
been created for practical
Yeah.
purposes, just to give
Hmm.
characters somewhere to go and spend the night if they get chucked out or if they
Yeah.
need somewhere to stay, or new characters need to be somewhere before they get their own place on the square. I think it's
Yeah.
there purely just for practical purposes, so
I
narrative
thought
sense.
that as well, and I actually didn't mind it. I thought,
No,
actually, this makes sense having a B&B there that characters can
yeah, I
go to
wasn't
if they
quite
have an
sure.
argument with a loved one or something as well.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I mean, I wasn't quite sure about where, the little alcove that Nigel was sat in. I don't know what that is. It just seemed to be like this
oh
little
yeah,
room surrounded by cushions, little meditative place where he could sit and read a book in his cardigan. That seems to be the purpose of that little room.
maybe
Quite
it is.
nice.
Maybe it's just
Yeah,
a little reading nook
a
in
little
the
reading nook.
boutique
We all need
hotel,
a nook
of
every now and
it.
again, don't we?
Oh, here we go. Lower it down. There we go.
Wasn't even making a sexual joke.
Oh, you're not. All
No,
right.
you think of me. How rude. Yes,
Sorry,
so
go
at the
on.
minute, Nigel and Julie are in the hotel boutique.
Yeah,
He Phil obviously knows he's messed up here, and I like the fact that he
yeah,
turned around to Julia, which is like, "Oh, you can come too. I was going to buy you a ticket as well." It's like, "No, you
yeah.
weren't. No,
I
you
know.
weren't, Philip." And she does have a point. I think she's right to be angry. I think
Yeah,
that
very.
at the end of the day, I stick with what I say with Julie is that she has more of a say in any of this. In fact, if anything, Julie has been entirely reasonable and more than reasonable in how
Yeah,
much that she is letting Phil sort of make some of
be
the
involved.
decisions and be involved
Mm,
and everything, don't you?
yeah. Yeah, she is married to him. She is the person who legally makes these decisions.
Yeah.
That's why Phil, when Denise said last week, "Do you want to be arrested because you're not allowed to make these
Kidnap.
decisions?" Yeah, it is
Yeah,
essentially
yeah,
you're kidnapping somebody who's vulnerable, who
yeah.
doesn't really know what he's agreeing to, does he?
Well, it wasn't even great moving him across to the boutique, was it? He didn't have a clue what was going on,
No,
bless him. It's not great to do that, even.
this is what I'm thinking because I do think that they'll be back at Phil's by next week. I think Julie will
They
be,
kind of have to be, don't they? Because that's
yeah,
where Nigel knows. Like, even Julie going
yeah,
away for like a week, she walks in and he's got no idea who she is.
hmm
So it's,
yeah. For Nigel's sake, they need to go back. But I
yeah,
think that Phil and Julie will definitely be, well, I think Phil will be trying to make amends, and Julie's going to be understandably very angry for
yeah.
a while.
I think she's
Because
got a
imagine
right
if
to
she'd
be.
not come back early
Yeah.
and he had gone to
And he's
Portugal
just
and then
gone.
Nigel died whilst he were
Yeah.
there and she didn't have a clue, like, that'd be unforgivable, wouldn't it?
Completely unforgivable, yeah, and
Yeah,
and this is what I mean. And Phil is doing this purely for selfish purposes. You can say as
at this
much
point.
as, yeah, I think he can say as much as he likes that he's doing it for Nigel. He wants Nigel to
Mm,
have happy memories and all of this kind of thing. Like, great, make him happy memories where he feels comfortable and knows
yeah.
stuff while he still knows it.
Yeah, unfortunately, taking him to an airport anyway. The
Crazy,
airports are bad for,
disorientating at the best of
yeah,
times.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
for
So then,
anybody.
yeah, and then taking him to Portugal, where English isn't going to be the first language that's spoken as well.
Yeah,
Somewhere he's possibly never ever been before anyway. Yeah,
exactly.
not, this is
Taking
not with
someone.
Nigel's best interests at heart, is it anymore?
Airports
I
are the
do
most
get it though.
confusing places in the world anyway. Like,
Yeah,
trying to
aren't they?
explain to somebody why we've now got to
Hmm.
go on a 6 mile walk to get to the gate that we need to be in. Like, I
Right.
don't understand that myself, and I haven't got
I
dementia
don't.
or Alzheimer's or anything, so
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Yeah,
Agreed.
so we'll see kind of where it goes from here. But I feel like Nigel and Julie, like you say, are going to have to end up back at Phil's purely for Nigel's sake, because Nigel wants to be there anyway. He
Yeah.
even at the boutique, he was sort
Yeah.
of going, "Well, where's Phil? What's going on?" Like, so bless him. Another month, do we reckon, for Nigel?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely next month, I think it's.
We're coming to the end, aren't we? We're in the final stages of it, I think.
Yeah, I reckon that they'll make all the plans for the care home and then he'll die and maybe not
Just
make it
before,
to the care
just
home.
before he's about to go into the care home, you reckon? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon so. Because it's got to happen. I reckon it's going to happen on Square,
Yeah,
surely.
has to. Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think they're just about to finalise everything. He's about to go to the care home. And then Phil can be like, see, he never wanted to go to the care home. He stopped then. He knew we were going to the care home, so he gave up. And then there'll be
yeah.
that whole argument. And then inevitably, Phil and Julie will end up jumping into bed together.
Now you're getting it. Now you're getting it.
Yeah, I know it's going to happen. I'm just not here for it. That's all.
Julie Mitchell. Do, 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 do.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
So, Ree, let me tell you about a little conversation I was having with somebody on our Facebook page, right? So, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
this week we had quite a little twist at the start of the week when it was discovered that Mark is back in the country because he is working for this bloke, and
Mm-hmm.
they're drug dealing and everything, and there is a grassing people up, and
Shock
Mark
horror who
needs
the
to
grass
discover
is,
who
yeah.
that is.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm guessing the sense that I'm owed money because I said to somebody on my Facebook page, they said, "I bet one of you worked that out really quickly," and I said, "I didn't, but I bet you 50 quid that Ree thought that twist incredibly obvious." And the answer is Ree.
Yes, I did think that that twist was incredibly obvious, I'm afraid
Ka-ching!
to say.
Money,
Somebody
money,
owes me
money.
50 quid then. Yeah, did you not? As soon as
I
he said,
didn't
oh,
get
I'm
it
here,
at all.
to be
No.
fair, as soon as Sam actually said, are you working with, is it money laundering or drugs? And then he didn't
Mm,
answer and she went, drugs then. We've all been there. Like, oh, part of Ravi's world, yeah. And then he starts talking about a grass. And it's like, well, Ravi's the grass, obviously, at the minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, didn't get it at all.
Oh,
I would
okay.
argue, Reed, sometimes I get more fun out of EastEnders than you do.
Yeah, I didn't know it was meant to be a twist. I thought it was that obvious that it was like, well, he's obviously here for Ravi. Like,
Honestly,
there's a grass somewhere around here. Where is there a grass on Albert Square?
I don't
Let's
know,
go
maybe
over to the Padasargalates. There
I
we
just
go.
maybe didn't tie the dots correctly. I just didn't see it whatsoever. So when it was revealed and
Join
like
the dots,
join the
tie the
dots,
dots.
tie the dots together, I didn't get it at all, and so I got quite a good little kick out of that twist on Monday. I was like, fair, did
Oh,
not see that coming whatsoever. So
fair.
Yeah, there you go. But you saw it coming before the script had even been written, obviously. Psychic Re strikes again.
Sorry. I just anyway, yeah. Yeah, anyway. Brilliant. All ties
Yeah, I mean,
together nicely. That's okay. Yeah,
whether you
fine.
got it or not, I suppose it works quite nicely.
Mhm.
So yeah, Mark obviously kind of comes in. He says he's here to sort of be there for Vicky, which he kind of is. But at the same
Mhm.
time, well, he also he walks into the calf. First thing he does is punch Ross in the face. Good punch. Good
Loved
punch.
that. I actually loved that. They're definitely trying to. We mentioned a bit of nature v nature, didn't we? It's like,
Well,
oh, he's got the nature, with the grant and
Well, this actually is what I want to discuss with you because I saw a few people online saying, "Oh, see now, obviously, Mark's going to be more Mitchell than he is Fowler. He's going to have like the sort of machismo and bad boy behavior of a Mitchell boy rather than being like a soft and gentle Fowler
Fowler.
type."
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I would say that had the shoe been on the other foot, I think Vicky would have stormed in there and whacked Ross in the face too.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, so you could say that he's got it from both sides in a way, I guess.
I don't see an
Even
issue with
Martin
this at all.
possibly would have done that, in
Yeah, of course he
fairness.
would. I don't see a problem with this whatsoever. I think that absolutely works that he would do that. Yeah, he's fallen into sort of like an underworld thing at the moment, with all the drugs and everything. And yes, you
Yeah,
could
that
argue
side you could argue is a bit more Mitchell-y
that's very
than
Mitchell-y,
Fowler.
right?
Yeah.
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 But what do you
But
think?
also, well, both families are loyal to the families
Yeah.
as well, which is what he showed in doing that. Was it compulsive though, and not
Com-
impulsive, should I say?
yeah,
Not
yeah.
compulsive.
Is it
Was it
compulsive?
impulsive?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, Vicky would totally do that. We've seen that side to Vicky, so it's not that.
But what about the drug side of things and the fact that he's maybe a little bit sort of shenanigany and sort of in the
That's
underworld and
definitely
that's
more
more
Mitchell's.
Mitch.
Yeah.
So, what do you feel about Mark being on that side of the equation rather than the other side?
Sure, why not?
You're right with
Yeah.
it? Like you
Yeah,
see,
I don't mind it. Yeah.
I mean, he is a Mitchell. This is the thing. Like he's
You
got
kind of
Mitchell blood in
expect
him.
it.
Like yeah,
It'd be more odd if he came in and were like, "Oh, I've just been working on a fruit and veg stall in Florida for the past 20 years, right?" Wouldn't that
yeah.
seem a bit more odd?
I don't mind this. I feel like it's
I don't
also
mind it.
we're also in that sort of stage with a new character, and I mean, I say
Mm.
new character, recast
Yeah.
person with the
Yeah.
character's history is essentially
Yeah.
a new character, isn't it?
Mm.
Where we're gonna get like the most extreme version of him for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
And that's kind of I feel what we're in at the moment, and he might as soon as this
Mm.
sort of drug storyline's over, I don't think necessarily that means that Mark is going to be like a gangster for the rest of his life.
No. And well, this is it. We need to know a bit of backstory because
How's he got here?
Vicky said, yeah, because Vicky said, oh, he's come all the way from Florida just to help me with this court case. And it's like, well, no, because he's involved in some drug underworld that's in London. So he's obviously been back in
But
UK
apparently
for
has
a while.
branches all the way in Florida. That can't be right. So
Well,
yeah,
no,
how is he?
exactly.
Yeah, so
So
how
how
is
has he got
he?
into this in the first
Yeah,
place? Once we discover that, it might not seem too like Mitchell shenanigans, because
yeah,
there may be a reason for why he's got into it or he's got in too deep in something and
yeah. This is the thing: getting in too
yeah.
deep and suddenly realizing
Yeah,
that you're in the middle of this dark and murky world. That's a thing,
exactly.
right? You
Yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
be necessarily a bad person to find
Hmm.
yourself in that world.
Yeah. So
I
there's
mean, look at
I
you.
think we
You're
need to know a
surrounded by
bit
drugs all the
more.
time, and you're a perfectly lovely lady.
Exactly. Look at me. And I do an
Exactly.
EastEnders podcast at the same time. It can
Yeah.
happen. For any new listeners who do not understand this,
But he's a drug addict.
you're never going to.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't mind this at all, actually. I feel like it's going to be interesting to sort of see where Mark goes. Theories, obviously, leading into New Year.
Yeah.
Does this
Again,
have
actually,
connections to that?
I did say that if Lauren's not having an affair with him, maybe she's getting drugs from him. I did actually say that at one point.
Yes, but my only thing with that is I feel
Mm.
like Max would like the whole thing is that Max and Mark are peer friendly, and that wouldn't be the case if that was
Keep
happening,
your
would it?
friends close, enemies closer there.
What, even your daughter's drug dealer?
Possibly. We don't know where they're at that point. I'm just riffing, Rob.
Riffing.
It probably isn't a fair, but if we're going to talk about what other possibility it could be, I'd already mentioned that. And then given Lauren's history and given the fact that he's in the drug world,
Addictions, yeah. Yeah.
maybe.
We shall
Maybe.
see, but I think maybe Mark might be one to watch over
I
the
think,
coming
yeah.
months. Ravi, meanwhile, not good, not good at all. So, obviously, last week we saw the whole thing with the glass, the whole
Yes.
self-harming thing, and that does
Mm,
appear to be continuing this week when he sets a lighter on his arm, because all of this is because of the court case that's happening, which we'll be
mhm.
talking about in a minute. Avani obviously is quite vital evidence to that. And because he is busy being a grass, he can't go to the court case. And so he feels
Mhm.
again that he's letting his family down. Priya has a massive go at him in the Vic and sort of sends him away.
Which
And
I
I
was
think,
glad about, can I just say, by the way, because I was thinking Priya can't forgive him for missing Avani's court day when she doesn't actually know what he's doing. If she knew what he was doing and that he couldn't get out of it,
mm,
it'd be believable that she didn't say anything. But I thought if they make Priya just go, oh, well, he's been busy at work and missed the court date, it's no biggie. I thought, that's not very Priya. So I was kind of glad that Priya laid into him because
yeah.
it felt more realistic that way.
I think this is all again going to be tied into the sort of toxic masculinity thing that Ravi's kind of
Yeah.
always had going on in the background with
Mhm.
himself. It's about a man looking at what his role is within a family. He's letting down his family, which thereby means that maybe he's not a proper man in his mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all sort of
Possibly.
complicated in his head, I think.
I also wondered if when he failed at things as a kid, maybe that Ranveer possibly hurt him.
I wouldn't be
So,
surprised.
like, so maybe it's triggered that in him that, well, I've just failed at something again, so I need to hurt
Yeah.
myself because maybe his brain's gone back to what Ranveer used to do to him, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, Nish would have done exactly the same thing, right? Both of them, these really terrible father figures in his life that
Mm,
he's killed off. He would have received like awful punishments off both of them for messing up. And so,
mm.
with nobody there to do that, he kind of feels like he has to do that himself, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I also feel like this is just also a bit of a tool that they're using so that us as an audience forgive him for what
Have
happened
you,
to Harry and Kerja.
and is it working? Have you forgiven him yet?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
It's working then, isn't it?
It were months ago that.
Oh,
Look at
get
him
over
now. He's
it.
not in a good way, is he? Bless
Get
him.
over it.
He's being
Yeah.
forced to grass on everyone. He doesn't
Mm,
like it. Can't be there
mm,
for his family. I
yeah.
mean, it were all just for me. All that happened with Harry and Kerja just weren't that believable because of the place we were at with Ravi at the time. So it kind of makes more sense that they're trying to redeem it now, if I'm honest with you. But is that what they're trying to do with this, or are they trying to highlight an
I mean,
actual
I think it's
issue?
interesting that Ravi seems to be dealing with the whole thing a lot worse than Harry does at the moment.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
Harry having killed somebody, I mean, we haven't seen Harry
Oh
properly really
yeah,
for a couple of weeks, but
yeah,
I wonder how he's getting on, and I wonder if the two of them actually might end up coming together and sort of not a friendship per se, but sort of being able to maybe indirectly help one another's mental health at the moment.
possibly, possibly. But then again, I don't know. Harry was then feeling rather guilty about the fact that they did drug Ravi because
Yeah,
of what happened with Nugget.
yeah.
I don't know if those two could ever be friendly. Actually, I think too much has happened
No, I
between
don't
them.
think friendly necessarily, but I feel
Hmm.
like there is a common link there that they might be able to sort of work on to sort of help themselves individually because of each other.
Yeah, possibly, possibly down
Because
the line.
things aren't going to get any better for Ravi in the short term because obviously Nugget needs to find out at some point exactly what
Oh
went
God,
on,
yeah.
and that's going to
Mm,
make things 10 times worse, right? Because from there you would think his whole family's going to leave him because they're going to be annoyed with Priya as well for knowing, so he's just going to feel 10 times more guilty because he's
hmm.
wrecked the entire family.
Yeah,
So
I think Avani and Nugget will both move out and go and live with Suki and Eve when
yeah,
it all comes out, both
yeah,
of them.
100%, yeah,
When
yeah.
will it come out, do you reckon?
I mean, one of them, I'm presuming, needs to walk in on what he's doing to himself at some point, or one of them needs to
Yeah.
discover it.
I feel like
Uh,
Nugget would be the best
yeah,
person
I can see Nugget
to
being the
discover
one.
that.
But then, Priya is more likely to see physical scarring and
True.
stuff on him as well, isn't she?
Oh yeah, that's true. Is anyone not going to be like? What did you do to your arm? I guess you could say when I was cooking or something, couldn't
Yeah,
I?
quite easily at the
Yeah.
moment, but
Mm,
the worse it gets, the more obvious and
yeah.
harder that's going to be to hide, right? So,
Yeah, you'd think.
mm,
Also, Nugget seems to be recovering now. So he's gone out, hasn't he, this week? He's managed to go
yep,
to the shops. He's wanting to go back to
he's
college.
doing
So
well.
I feel like he's going to
Can't have
do
that
really,
happening for long,
really
can we?
well. Exactly. And then
Yeah,
that's when he's going to find out that it was
yes,
actually Ravi. Yeah.
yeah, hundred
In a
percent,
few
yeah.
weeks, maybe? Or do you think it'll drag on a
Yeah,
bit
couple of
longer?
weeks. I don't know, maybe a couple of
Not
weeks, and we'll
drag, but
sort
you
of
know.
yeah, no, because I feel like I'm all right with the pacing of this story at the
Yeah,
minute.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a couple of weeks, few weeks. I
Mm,
think we need maybe to have a bit of time with what Ravi's doing at the moment, and then
yeah.
sort of the fallout from it. Maybe he'll just be starting to turn the typical way of doing it, isn't it? Like he's just about starting to turn the corner, and then something
Yeah.
else will happen. Then you're going right back down to square one again, and then some. So
Yes.
yeah, I feel like that's the direction it's going to go in. But it's interesting. I think Aaron's doing very, very well with it.
Hmm.
Some great performances with this, and I'm always interested in Ravi because I think he's a really interesting character.
Hmm.
He's got a load of layers to him, and this is just sort of like scratching away at another one. So let's see how it all plays out. The final story of the pod this week, obviously, is Joel's trial. Court is in session. Joel is going down. Some interesting stuff with this week. First of all, obviously, Max Murray is fantastic. I'm going to miss the actor, and not as much the character because he's a little shit. But I will miss Max Murray's performance. He's
Yeah, but
great.
I know what you mean, like, we'll not miss the character, but kind of in a way, because sometimes it is nice to hate a character and for
Oh,
them to, like, start such an important conversation as
yeah,
well, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
But
mean,
his facial expressions, he's
he's
spot on,
brilliant.
isn't he?
Yeah, like you just want to reach through the screen and punch him, don't you? Like he's so
Literally,
good at what he's doing.
literally
Yeah.
amazing.
Um, a lot going on with that this week. Obviously, let's talk about Vicky and Zack. Oh, hot stuff.
Oh, I
Oh.
bet you're loving it, weren't you, Rob?
I
You
mean,
love a bit
obviously,
of Zach.
there was no need for him to be topless. It was just for me that scene, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I mean, you could see it coming from space. I think that they were
yeah.
going to sleep together at that point.
Hmm.
And if anything, fair play to been held off this long because I don't know how Vicky has managed to hold off on doing that. Being with Ross. No, what I mean is being with Ross, who
Oh,
is
got
the
you.
father of the son who beat you
Mm.
up and you're going to have to go to court. Like, I don't know how you stay so loyal to somebody like Ross in that moment. Not necessarily Ross's fault for being a bit useless in the situation, but you know what I mean?
I do understand what you mean because I was thinking it this week and thinking, why are you even with Ross given what's happened? Like, can you
Yeah,
really come back from that
yeah.
given what your relationship's been through? I don't know. But then again, I guess if she loves him, then she loves him, doesn't she? And
Does she
he
love
does
him?
have empathy. I don't know. Why would she be back with him if she didn't? Do you think she feels sorry for him because of the Joel thing now?
I think she feels a sense of guilt, which I think was
Mm,
proper on display this week because
yeah.
you could argue that in some ways Vicky did not help this situation whatsoever with some of the things that she did. And it's sort of, as in sort of paying people off. I love that she got so outraged when that was brought up in court. Like, sorry, did you not think this was going to get mentioned, Vicky?
Yeah, but I think the point of it was, yeah, I did these bad, which obviously Aaron and Varney have this conversation. Yeah, I might have done all these bad things, but nothing excuses what Joel did. And I think
No.
it's the fact that they're kind of victim blaming in a way and being like, well, you're not innocent. And it's like, all right, that was a really bad thing to do and a really bad choice
Yeah.
that she made. That doesn't mean that you can use that against her for the fact that Joel beat her up so aggressively.
What did you think of the parallels that were sort of made this week about Vicky's behaviour, especially this week, when
Mhm.
she effectively cheated on Ross?
Mm.
What do you think of the parallels that were made between that and what Joel thinks about women this week?
I mean, men and women have affairs anyway, so
Mm.
like just because she's a woman doesn't mean that what he's saying is right.
Because you're a
I don't
woman,
know,
you
it's
having an affair makes it 10 times worse than if a bloke does it.
well, it's everything has context, doesn't it? It's not
Mm,
like she goes out and is this serial cheater.
mm,
Like she's had this affair with Ross and ended up in this loving relationship because of it afterwards. Not that I'm condoning affairs, but it's not as black and white as Joel was trying to make it out to be, is
yeah,
it?
yeah. Like
Even
you are
this with
typical of all
Zach.
women. Yeah,
Yeah, even this with Zach, it's a lot deeper than that. Even like Zach said to her, there's feelings involved. And again, it's a complex situation. Like we're even saying, should she even be with Ross in the
mm,
first place? Again, not condoning the cheating, but Does that mean that she's living up to this stereotype that Joel's painting out? Absolutely not. I understand why she's thinking that when she's faced with him in court and she's already gone into court thinking, what on earth did I do last night? And racked with guilt.
You had a great time. That's what you did last night.
Well, yeah. But again, yeah, she did. That's probably
Yeah.
making her feel even more guilty, isn't it? But no, I don't think that she's played up to this stereotype that Joel's trying to make out women are at all.
It's yeah, there was some really interesting stuff being brought up about that this week, and the fact that once they were in court, I mean, that court case was chaos, right? The
I
most
did
useless,
think
the
this.
most useless judge there has ever been in the history of judging, right? And we say this about quite a few judges in the world of
Yeah.
soap, right? But this judge took the biscuit because not only are the two sort of the prosecution and the defense, they're just going at each other, and like the defense is making is saying things that the judge should be saying, like that's got nothing to do with it. I could kick off about this, and it's sort of like the judge just sat there and just watching it all. People are having chats, like Ross and Joel are having a full-on blown conversation. People are kicking
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Avani rushing up to Joel and starting having
I
a go and
mean,
everything. Vicky
she's
storming out.
she's
Like,
got her free live episode of EastEnders in front of her. Why would you stop
I
it, to
know.
be fair,
I
Rob? She's
know.
like,
I'd
oh,
be
it's
the
the
same.
drama, Mick. I love it.
As you were. You carry on. She's loving
No, I
it.
know what you mean. Like when Ross made that speech, and it's like, this would not happen in a
No,
court.
shut up.
You would
We're in the
not
middle
let
of a
them
court case.
interrupt a
It's what you
court
would say.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
have.
It
But
was.
then again, I don't know. Is it a bit different in youth courts or something?
Well, I
I
don't
don't
know, but it
know.
was the fact that when Vicky stormed out and she turned around to Ross and was just like, how could you just let him say that? And Ross was like, what are you on about? I'd have been chucked out. I'm like, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, evidently, actually,
Judge wouldn't have
yeah.
said a word.
Yeah, well, it was a little bit odd, I must admit. But then again, I've never been to a youth court case. I don't know if they are
Liar.
a bit more. I don't know. Do they allow it? But
I didn't.
anyway, for the
I've never
sake
been
of the
to. I've never
story,
been to a youth
sure.
court. I didn't get caught. So
Uh,
there's the difference. Yeah. I mean, oh yeah. Apart from that, it was.
Oh, and
It was.
Ivani could stop
Yeah.
just walking off at Doc to go and knock him out halfway through. I
That's what
mean,
I mean.
fair. Do you know what though? I think the judge were just like, yeah, I've read this kid's card. To be fair, if you want to get up and knock him out, go for it,
Well,
love.
this is the other thing I thought about this week. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff with this week, which I'll come to in a second. But the other thing was that everybody kept saying, "Oh, he's going to get off, and he's going to get off." It's like, no, he's not going to get off
No,
at all. This is a
yeah,
very open and shut case where you've got video evidence of Joel beating Vicky up, which is what he's on trial for, and you
yeah.
also have lots of history in his phone of like abusive videos, incel stuff. Like he's going to prison. Like there's
I
no
did
two ways
think
about
I
this.
did think this as well. Why is everyone saying he's going to get off? It seems really clear that like
He's
he's a
definitely
bad
not.
egg. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
even his own lawyer like were clearly had given up on him and were like, "You're digging your own grave, mate. You know what? I'm going to get paid anyway, but
yeah,
you're going down."
yeah.
Because even he were like disgusted by him. You could
Oh
see
yeah,
it,
quite
couldn't you?
clearly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So there was a few elements of it this week where I think they were just chucking drama at it because they needed it to, like they needed
yeah,
duffs and stuff like that. Because
mm,
realistically, Joel was not going anywhere after this
no,
other than prison.
yeah,
But there was a lot of good stuff with it this week. Tommy was my star of all this, I think. Tommy was amazing this
yes.
week.
Tommy was very good, actually. Quite the turnaround from him, but very believable as well that he's this mature,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, 100%. It was interesting that they brought up like sort of what went on with him and Kat, the violence that
Mhm.
went on there, and it's actually quite a sort of natural snowballing point, isn't it, for him to go from that to getting in with someone like Joel, and
Yeah,
then coming out the other side of it, going that what his views on
yeah.
masculinity are now completely altered from what they once were.
Yeah, and the fact that he's able to just freely talk about his emotions in court, even though, Joel was sat there laughing at him, and he's like, "Do
Yeah,
you know what? I don't even care." All of this, what makes a man so he's still spouting it. And then did you notice as well with Ross later on? He said something like, "Because I'm man enough to say," and I'm like, "Oh, he's still doing it. He's still not learned from it all, has he? Bless
no,
him."
no.
Yeah.
Um, with Joel though, like so by the end of the week, obviously, once he's heard everything, what do you think it was necessarily that made him change his plea?
Well, this is it. It's supposed to be Ross, and again, he said that I'm man
Mm,
enough to own up to this. Can I be honest with you? Can I be real with you? I don't think
yes.
it would have happened. I think this was a very neat way of tying up this
You
storyline.
don't think he would have changed his mind?
No,
No.
and I'm actually a bit not. I'm not very happy that they wrote this in because up until like 15 minutes before the episode ended, he was still not
Yeah,
taking any responsibility
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
himself. So I feel like it was just a very convenient conclusion to have on him deciding at
It's
the last minute to plead guilty.
it tied it up in a nice little ribbon, didn't it?
Yeah,
Whereas yeah, you kind of think, well, actually, what Ross is saying to you there isn't that different from what Ross has been saying to you previously.
all
So what is it?
along.
Yeah, so what is it about this particular sort of
Yeah.
bollocking you're getting off Ross that's
Mm.
made the thing that changed your mind?
Yeah.
You could argue that he actually heard from these women's perspectives, and I think maybe they should have pushed that side of it a little bit more so
Yeah.
that maybe altered his thinking, because that's what
Yeah.
Tommy basically had happen. Like
Yeah.
he kind of took on board everything that was going on with the women's
Hmm.
side of the view, and that
Yeah.
helped change his mind.
Yes.
Whereas, like you say, with Joel, 15 minutes before the final episode, it's like, I'm fine, I'm going to McClunky's, nothing's wrong here. And it's sort of
Literally.
like, maybe it should have been that I feel like it was Tommy massively that changed his mind. I think that had a
Yeah.
big impact on him. And maybe by the time that Ross came to him and said what he said,
Mm.
that the wheels were already in motion.
Yeah, I think that. But then again, later, like when they were all in the pub afterwards, kind of celebrating. And he said to Avani, like, oh, maybe it was because of what you said in the court that he changed his mind. And I thought, there's no way Joel would not listen to it. Even you're not telling me that in that last 15 minutes of that episode, he
Mm.
changed all of those extreme views that he had,
Yeah.
especially because a female said it. There's absolutely no way, given his character, that that's what turned it for him.
No. And then, so then thereby maybe the fact that it was the man that sort of
Yeah.
changed his mind is actually kind of quite consistent in some ways.
Yes. Yeah. And also, they're like, when Ross spoke to him after and said, are you just pleading guilty because you seen how it were going to go and you're going to get a reduced
Yeah.
sentence? And he was like, no, no. And I was like,
Don't
maybe
know.
there is a little
Don't
bit of
know.
that.
I
Yeah.
think there is a little bit of that, but I mean, it's the fact that Joel started the week off completely and utterly sort of convinced that he was nothing's gone
Yeah.
wrong here. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
off, and it's
Yeah.
sort of like, has nobody explained to you quite how much trouble you're in at the minute? It's like,
Yeah. Do you not understand video
yeah,
evidence,
do you not
Joel?
understand? You
Like,
know that people have watched that. That's why you're
yeah.
here. Yeah, they even
Yeah.
had like a little picture of Vicky on most of the screens, like looking like beaten up and stuff as evidence.
Yeah.
So it's like there was no universe in that you were ever
No.
going to get off from, even in Walford courts. Even they
Hmm.
had to admit, actually, yeah, you're probably guilty.
Yeah.
It's like you're probably going down, mate.
Do you know something I am a little confused by? Obviously, this court case was about the assault on Vicky.
Mm.
Was Avani never going to press charges then about what's happened to her with the video being leaked? Because they kind of merged it in with this, and I
Yeah,
understand why it'd be evidence for the Vicky case, but then I'm not understanding why they wouldn't do their own little case about this because, like, he leaked
I
images of a child
he
without her
did, yeah.
consent.
Well, I think he was that was on the list of his charges, wasn't it?
It was on the list of
It was on the
charges
list
then.
of
It was
charges,
part of
yeah.
it. Right,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
It was
All
obviously
right.
the Vicky stuff that sort of got him in court in the
Yeah,
first place, but then the
okay.
evidence piles up after that. And when the judge read out his
Right.
list of charges at the end, that was on the list.
Yes, you're right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even still, so he's got all of these, and they're still saying, "Do you think he'll serve his
Yeah, he's
year?"
gonna get off,
One
isn't he?
year.
He's gonna get off, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but then
one
he's
year.
only
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
saying
yeah.
he's only going to get up to a
But
year.
then youth, like, is that different? Like, if he'd been over 18 and done all of this, then maybe we're talking about a different sort of sentence. But if
Possibly,
he's a
yeah.
kid, he's going to a
Point.
youth offenders institution, presumably. So, how long are you in
But
there for,
still,
realistically? I
yeah,
know it's
true.
not long enough. I fully agree with
No,
you, but you know,
mm,
realistically, that's not necessarily the show making a cock up in how long they're sending Joel
no,
down for.
no.
That might actually be how long a kid would get for that long. Because you
Yeah,
kind of would like to think that someone of Joel's age can sort himself out from this. This isn't, he
you'd
isn't,
hope. Yeah,
he likes to think he's Andrew Tate, but he isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
possibly can change.
Mm. So do you
So,
reckon we're going to see him back on the square in like a year's
well,
time
this
or
is my
less
question
than?
to you. Do you think we'll see Joel again?
I don't know. I guess
It
it all
feels like
depends
it's
on
over, doesn't
whether
it?
Max
But
Murray
then,
wants to come back because he might want to say goodbye to that role.
well, what I would also say is I think it depends what happens with Ross.
Yes, there is that. Yeah, of course.
Because
Whether he's going to actually stick around or
there's a
not.
side of me that sort of kind of thinks, what happens with Ross as a character now? Because ultimately, obviously, the plan will be for Vicky and Zack to get together, and I
Yeah,
have a feeling that Vicky's going to end up pregnant, by the way.
I thought this as well. Yeah, that was exactly my thought that she's going to be pregnant.
Is there a way that she could end up in Max's bed, like not sleeping with
Max. Oh,
Max?
wow,
Well,
we're throwing that into the
well,
mix.
no,
Yeah, okay, fair.
I don't necessarily mean that Vicky and Max might sleep together, but is there some sort of reason as to why they might end up in a bed, not in bed together, but in
That
a
he's
bed together
protecting her while she's
from
pregnant,
something?
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and that's why she is. What's why there is a
Mark, and
pregnant
then
lady next to
he's
her.
clocked
Yeah,
Mark. Is
maybe
there some kind of
something.
connection? Is he
Yes.
protecting her from the drug wheel because she's already been threatened by
Yeah.
Mark's
Yeah.
associates?
Yeah.
So is Max saying, no one would suspect her staying with me? And she's going, Max, I don't even want to sleep in bed on my own. Would you mind? I know it's a bit weird and
Yeah.
inappropriate, but
Could
would you
be.
share the bed with me? Yeah?
Could be.
Possible?
And so what
Possible?
this and so the person in Max's bed is actually Vicky and she's pregnant with Zach's baby, possibly.
Yeah, but everyone's saying it's all right, let her stay there because nobody would suspect her staying with Max of all
Yeah,
people. So
exactly.
she's safe there.
So it's possible, but that would imply that maybe Ross is still around in a year. I mean, this is what I mean. I feel like Ross, like obviously Ross came in for this story,
Yeah, I know
and
what you're
this story is
saying.
now effectively over. So I feel
So
like,
where does it
what does
leave him on
Ross
the
do
square?
next? Yeah, because obviously they've got the fallout of the Zach and Vicky stuff to come, but then
Mm.
after that,
I guess it depends. Would they then make Ross be with somebody else on the square, possibly? B? I don't know.
maybe.
Why not?
um,
Maybe. Well, actually, do you know something I have been surprised at in all this Joel stuff? We still never
go
met
on.
his mum.
I was expecting for the mum to turn up this week because I'd heard
Yeah.
that that Joel got a visitor in the spoilers and
Mm,
stuff. Obviously, that turned out to be Tommy. But I was kind of thinking, are we going to see this mum turn up right at the end, and maybe she'll be the one to sort of change his mind
yeah.
and sort of seal it all and everything? But yeah, we never
Yeah.
met her. Never met her.
But then would meeting his mum during court case week have detracted from what the point was of the court case too much?
But then it would have been like ultimately, it would have been interesting to maybe see that a woman is capable of changing his mind.
True. Yeah, but then I think that would have been unrealistic. But then again, are we led to
Yeah.
believe that it was Avani that changed his mind anyway?
And ultimately, it was his mum walking out that was maybe the catalyst for all of this in the first place.
Yeah, so would it be right that she then just comes back and then 10 minutes before the show ends, he changes his mind because of his mum?
I mean, she's a crap mum.
I mean, where is she? But then we
Where is
don't
she?
know the exact circumstances of everything to do with his mum, so who are we to judge? We don't actually.
We're a podcast host, and I will judge her. Like, where is she? Like, she should have been
Yeah,
there at some point during this process because it's not like I refuse to believe that she doesn't know that this is going on. Because
yeah, this is true.
because Ross
Yeah,
must have told her.
you'd think. And she's on Facebook, which we know because she
Yeah,
announced her engagement on there.
yeah.
So,
So I feel like
mm,
she would have known what was going on and then just didn't turn up for it, which in itself, I guess, is giving Joel more fuel as to what his views on women are. I guess so. In a way, it all sort of makes sense, but I was expecting her to show up at some point during the storyline so we could sort of just see
yeah.
exactly what she's about and
Yeah, even if it were just once that we met
yeah,
her and it were
yeah.
that she went, I can't deal with this and walked off
See you
again or
later. Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit incomplete.
But as a whole, this story has been pretty damn good,
Yeah,
hasn't it? Like, it's been a
yeah.
great story, a really
Hmm.
important story. It's caused conversation, which the best stories do. It's a really, really, really big topic, and
Yeah,
it needs to be discussed more, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, this storyline's done a great job in itself, but the conversation can't end here with this sort of thing.
yeah,
So,
agreed.
fingers crossed it's had an impact on some viewers. I mean, this is the thing with storylines like this, if one young lad has been watching this storyline and it's kind of helped him, then the storyline's done its
Yeah.
job.
Oh, absolutely. And even parents, it might help as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Who've gone, do you know what? Yeah, what are they watching? And gone up and found out that they're watching these kind of videos and
yeah.
managed to knock it on the head earlier on.
Why
Brilliant.
soaps? It's why soaps are great. Why soaps should never die because that's what they're for in some regards. Like, yeah, you can throw all your affairs and all your murders and all your explosions and everything like that at your soaps as you always will do. But then
Hmm.
now and again, these sorts of stories need to come along and actually educate and actually help
Yes,
people. So fair play,
definitely.
EastEnders, all the way through. The storyline's been pretty damn splendid.
Mhm.
Great performances all the way throughout as well. Gold star.
Well, talking of which, it's got to be Joel for
You
me.
giving it to Joel for just like one
Not
last
for,
time.
not for his personality or even the
No,
fact that, he's decided to see the error of his ways because I'm still
mm,
not convinced by
no,
that.
neither am
But
I.
just for Max Murray's performance, he deserves the last gold star, I
Uh,
feel.
yes, and I'm sort of like I'm stuck between Vicky and Tommy.
I thought you were going to say Tommy, actually.
I think I might get. Like Vicky and Alice Haig were incredible this week,
Mhm.
but I feel like Tommy just about edges
His
it for me
actual
because
character.
because I love the journey that they've gone on with Tommy,
Yeah.
and I feel like this week culminated in that. So
Yes.
yeah, Tommy for my gold star and Joel for
Joel.
yours. There we go.
Yes.
Final section of the podcast, ladies and gents. As usual, is some comments from you.
Before we start with the comments, Rob, we had a bit of news this week.
Ooh.
Jake Moon is back. So this February, Jake Moon is on his way back to our screens as Joel Beckett reprises his role for a short stint. Jake returns in search of answers about what really happened at Christmas, but he gets more than he had bargained for when he learns a different version of events that leads him to question the woman he loves. With his conscience weighing heavy and with multiple versions of events to contend with, only time will tell if Jake will do the right thing for not only himself, but for the sake of his family.
Spoiler siren.
Ooh.
But yes,
Yes, spoiler.
interesting.
But it's an announcement. We've said
It's
when
an
it's an
announcement.
announcement,
Let
it's
me
not a
read it
spoiler.
out.
So there we go. Yeah.
Yes. So I wasn't expecting this. So this is
No,
kind of
I
semi-interesting.
wasn't.
This obviously is all going to be tied in with the Zoe storyline, with the
Yes.
stuff with Chrissy. So
And
I
him,
would go on.
I'm going to say he's going to have to choose whether his loyalties lie with Alfie or Chrissy, then, with the sounds of things.
Yes, and so this presumably means that Chrissy's going to be back at some point as well, surely.
Yes, which I'm okay with. I feel like I did feel incomplete just seeing her for the short time that we did over Christmas. So
Mm.
I'm kind of glad about that.
Alfie's loyalties are going to be interesting here.
Yes, also true. Yes, very true, actually. I mean, if I were Jake, though, I'd be like, do you know what? I was stuck by Chris's side while she were in jail for the past 20 years. I might as well carry on, hadn't I? Because you got point in
Yes.
going this far and then siding with Alfie or something.
Well, I mean, also bearing in mind that I'm pretty sure that Alfie still thinks Jake's dead. So that's going to
Oh,
be an
yeah.
interesting. So that's going to be an interesting reaction when he discovers that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's interesting that I think that he's going to come back
Oh,
and be on the square and interact with some characters. Where this really leaves the Zoe stuff, I feel like this might be the conclusion to at least that side of it because
yes, the Jasmine stuff and
yeah, obviously not the end of the
mm,
Jasmine side of the storyline,
yeah,
but certainly
yeah.
maybe this will quite hastily move on the Anthony aspect of it.
Yes, maybe then they are just going to pin it on Chrissy and Jake's going to be part of it and go, right, she might not have directly murdered him because I feel like if both Kat and I dare say Patrick
Mm,
saw that video of what Jasmine did, he would
yeah,
actually kind of forgive her and be like, well, would have been scared in that moment. She didn't
yeah.
realize at the time he was a father,
Look how
but
scared she looks when she turns the camera on her face.
she's like, it was me all
Well,
along. But I feel like that maybe even Patrick, if he did find out, would go along with let's pin it on Chrissy and not want his granddaughter to go down for it as well.
possibly, yeah, because Patrick's kind of quite. There was some stuff with Patrick and Jasmine where they were sort of, Patrick wants to be there for Jasmine, doesn't he? So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
now he's got used to it. Do
yeah,
you know something else as well that I feel like we've had mentioned a fair few times this week is Spencer. I'm wondering if we're going to get a Spencer recast or something.
possibly. I
Would that tie
liked
in with
Spencer.
Jake? I
Yeah,
loved Spencer.
I
He was
really like
brilliant.
Spencer. I'd like to see Spencer again.
Mm,
Um, and it would make sense to sort of, if you want to maybe build the moons up a little bit more again,
yeah.
which seems to be maybe the start of this, if Jake's kind of
Mm,
coming back and poking his nose around and reminding us that Alfie's got this
mm,
family. So
yeah.
it might be interesting to sort of see Spencer again. And like you say, he's certainly got he's got more connections on the square at the moment than he'd had for years previously.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised maybe to see Spencer again. Watch this space. On to comments. Matt Cherry has said, it's early days, but I was really hoping they'd brought back Mark to be more of a Fowler than a Mitchell. Why can't anyone come in as just a nice, stable person with typical problems without being turned into a killer or a psycho, like Gray or Reese? Instead, get ready for more scenes at Shenanigan Warehouse. Thoughts?
Well, it's EastEnders. You can't bring them in and them just be nice. Come on.
Normal. People get
No, I
axed for that
don't.
sort of behaviour.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I get it.
this kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about, like, the Mitchell
Mm,
slash Fowler thing. They are very different types of family.
yeah,
So if
very.
someone comes in as a mixture of that, what are you going to get? But then yeah, the drug side of things, the gangster side of things is a very, very Mitchell thing.
Yeah,
But then
definitely.
everything else that Mark did this week, I think, was quite Fowler-like. So
Yeah, some of it you could argue was foul behaviour, definitely. I just think as well, if we find out how we got into this
yeah,
shenanigans, maybe it might be a foul way that he did get into it. Because don't forget, Martin managed to get himself in all of the Mitchell
don't forget the days of
shenanigans at
Dark
one
Martin.
point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
It can
happened.
happen, but I know we're saying that, and it is really obvious that they're trying to show
Mm,
that he's got the Mitchell side, but. I also feel like this era's doing this a lot anyway, like with Jasmine and showing all her Slater-like traits. So I think they've
yeah.
done the same with Mark. But like you also said, they come in a bit exaggerated to begin with. There's
Mm.
time for it all to just settle down a bit down the line, I think. Richard Gold was talking about Thursday's episode and he says, definitely one of the better episodes recently. I've got to say that Alice Haig is quickly proving to be one of the show's secret weapons. I forget she's still a relatively new cast member. She just fits EastEnders like a glove, and this was a great showcase for her.
That's why she got half the Platinum Star Award this year. Check out our
I
award
was
show
just
if you haven't seen
thinking
that
that.
already. But
Mm,
yes, I mean, Alice Haig is phenom, isn't she? I
yeah.
love her.
Yeah. And she does fit like a glove.
Does
She's proper EastEnder, isn't she?
proper
Yeah.
EastEnder. Yeah, I love her.
Actual phenomenal casting with Alice Haig, I
Yeah,
better say.
yeah. I mean, she
Really
looks like
good.
Sue Tully's daughter, doesn't she? Like she is,
And that,
and
she's
that,
literally the
like.
perfect casting, isn't she?
I love her, and she is such
Yeah.
a great character, played
Hmm.
to perfection, but
Yeah.
also sort of like I just love. It always makes me laugh, like how Vicky could have an argument with a chipped coffee cup. Like she is, she's
Yeah.
so angry all the time. It's great. She's
Hmm.
fiery. She
Hmm.
is the sort of character that will throw herself into storylines with both feet. Like I absolutely love her. She is fantastic,
Hmm.
and long may she reign. Um,
Definitely.
Rachel Fleming has said this week has been great. Alice Haig stole the show for me. I hope Max returns as Joel in the future. I would love to see what happens when he comes out of prison. Yeah, because this is also sort of like the story doesn't finish just because he's gone to prison, right? Like
No.
it probably has finished now he's gone to
Mm.
prison, but realistically, I do want to see what becomes of him when he gets out.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I feel like it's almost like the rest of the square feel like, oh, that's the end of this
Mm,
storyline. And yet Vicky's there like, well, no, I don't feel like celebrating. Like, it's still like a really shit thing that's happened. Like, I don't
yeah,
want to just sip champagne.
yeah,
Like, because at the end of the day, she used to care for him as well, didn't
yeah.
she? I can't say that she's too happy that he's gone down, but at the same time, she just must feel so conflicted about this entire scenario.
Yeah, because what are you celebrating? The fact that a lad had his brain turned inside out by
Yeah.
online
Mm.
influencers. You know, that's
To the
nothing to.
point that he did this, even though,
Yeah,
of course,
the fact
he
that this
needed
can
to be
happen
punished
is
for it.
nothing to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, I feel like they'll continue it with Varney, that it'll come
Mm,
up quite a bit down the line for her as well. So
yeah,
I would like to see Joel be released. And I wonder if they'll write in that he's been reformed, but nobody's going to believe him on the square, or that he's going to try and act like he's been reformed and people do buy it, but then
yeah.
actually we see that he's not at all.
I wonder what it is like for a man in who has those sorts of views in a men's prison or a men or a youth offenders institution or
Mm.
whatever. Like, what do they do with people like that? Because
Yeah, you're surrounding him by
yeah, like
other young,
yeah.
potentially like-minded people.
Exactly, like is he going to be? Doubtful that he's going to be the only person in there with those sorts of
Mm.
views, right? And he's just because he got a bit emotional towards the end of his court case doesn't
Mm.
mean that those views have gone away. It's not that easy, unfortunately, just to remove them from his head. So
Mm,
he's
very
got to do that
true.
himself.
Yeah, interesting. It depends or is he even going to come back, like you say, or is it that we're just
I
never
feel
going to
like
see him
he's,
ever again?
I feel like he's probably not going to come back, but at the same time,
Mm.
I feel like the story can continue and just sort of
Yes.
see is it possible for somebody like that to redeem themselves. Like, yeah, he
Mm.
did some horrific things. And yeah, you can't say, oh, he only did that because his brain was turned inside out by
Hmm.
online influencers. Like, you've got a choice in the actions you make. You weren't
Hmm.
hypnotized, you weren't being controlled. You consciously chose to do those
Tommy
things.
watched the exact same videos in the
Yeah,
end and chose to go the
exactly.
other way
Yeah,
eventually.
you chose to beat Vicky
Mm.
up and then
Yeah.
film it and then really
Hmm.
enjoy the fact that you'd done it. So
Mm.
is someone like
And
that
then remain
capable of
smug
changing?
in throughout the
Yeah,
entire court case and then
yeah.
change his mind at the last. I'm still not quite buying that, by the way. I feel like he should have just still pled innocence and then they should have found him guilty. I would have
Mm.
actually been more satisfied with that ending than he all of a sudden turned around and said guilty. But
unless, him pleading guilty can be the start of his path to recovery.
Possibly, yeah, but then I feel like we should have seen a bit more of a redemption from him throughout the week and him slowly watching the court case. He still seemed quite smug until the
Yeah,
last minute.
yeah, he did,
So,
yeah.
but anyway, it's happened.
We shall see. That's it for this week, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and wherever you find your podcasts. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Yes, you can indeed. We will be back same time next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.